biggest challenge for you in seeing the implementation at your company, making that transition?
I'll jump on that. Anytime I've talked about it, it seems in the workplace with different people, they all think that it's I'm going to be spreading my religion, and it's like I will be, but it's not the way you think, kind of thing. That's the challenge. You say servant leadership, and they think that you're gonna start reading the Bible and stuff like that.
So I'll answer that as well. So at our company, we have the luxury of servant leadership being there already. Now there's, it kind of ebbs and flows. As I mentioned, that culture gets challenged. As we've been challenged in times, it boils down to some of the comments here about prima donnas, macho, and all that stuff. Try to move that aside.
I think, can I turn it around? Mary, if I told your story to this group, you'd be the poster child for servant leadership. So I'm going to avoid that today, but trust me, you're a servant leader in the classroom and at home with the kids and the other things you do for the community. So it's brought out of people's true attitudes. I'm going to use a different approach to answer that question. There's a book by a professor out of Stanford. He's written a half a dozen books. My favorite one, and I've given out 160 of them, is the No Asshole Rule. And it's an awesome book, and if you haven't bought it or you've never read it, go out and buy it today. It's just a terrific book, and it's how to tolerate that kind of environment, how to not embody that kind of behavior, how to build a business that doesn't, or a culture that doesn't have that kind of overbearing kind of personality. And he's a wonderful author. He's a really great guy, but it's a wonderful book, and it gives you all sorts of anecdotal stories so that you reflect and you don't behave that way. Because I've worked for a lot of you-know-whats.
I'd like to add one more thing, and the other thing that I've run into is that servant leadership, some people will say, oh, that's a squishy kind of a thing, it's do-gooder and all that kind of thing. They'll kind of think it's all about just being nice and never getting upset or holding people accountable. And so once you get over that it's about holding people accountable, and sometimes the best thing that you have to do is tell people the truth that they're not performing well, and that's how to figure it out. So the impression that some people get is that a servant leadership, oh, you'll never get fired, we're going to pay you over more than you're worth, and we're going to do all that kind of thing. It's like, that's not what it's about. So there's misconceptions out there, and that's the toughest thing, is overcoming the misconceptions.